With the release of Halo Spartan Assault, I think it's a good time to talk about where the Halo series went wrong. It's obvious that the series quickly fell into irrelevance after the release of Halo 3, but why was this? Let's start at the beginning. Halo was released at a turning point in gaming history, that is at the release of the original Xbox. Microsoft bought Bungie, a small game studio which had recently released a few moderately successful games in the past, and they wanted them to produce their flagship title. So, it had a lot in its favour from the get-go. The first exclusive title for a new generation of consoles being backed by one of the most successful companies in the world. However, it wasn't the big advertising budget that made Halo. It had a unique single-player experience in which players could explore a variety of different environments using crazy weapons and vehicles. The Halo sandbox was groundbreaking for its time. And Halo was big on multiplayer too. Even though Xbox Live hadn't been launched yet, co-op on Halo was massive, and so were LAN parties. Simply put, Halo was a lot of fun, and it continued to be fun over and over again no matter how many times you played it. Halo had become massive, so when Bungie announced Halo 2, it was almost guaranteed to be a success. Halo 2 provided an expanded sandbox, better graphics, better physics, but most importantly, it had online multiplayer. Utilising the new Xbox Live system, Halo 2 was a definitive multiplayer experience. The online multiplayer ensured that the game would stay relevant for years to come as people would keep playing over and over again. Halo 3 repeated the success of Halo 2 in much the same way. Using the new hardware of the Xbox 360, it again provided a staple multiplayer experience for years. Especially important to its success was the Forge mode, which allowed players to create their own game types and maps. However, the face of online multiplayer was changing, which would force Halo to change for the worse. As we all know, Call of Duty 4 was released at around the same time as Halo 3, and we all know what that game has done to the industry. Instead of sci-fi shooters being the big thing, it became pseudo-realistic military shooters. Call of Duty 4 made online multiplayer incredibly popular due to its availability on every platform. Every game now has to have multiplayer tacked on regardless of whether or not it adds anything to the experience. But the type of gameplay had to be emulated too. That is the loadouts, perks, and die in 2 shots kind of gameplay. And this is what caused the death of Halo. Bungie knew that if they released a new Halo game with this kind of gameplay, the fans would reject it completely. However, they also knew that creating something which was too similar to the original trilogy would be suicide because nobody plays those kind of games anymore. So, we got Halo Reach. Halo Reach was by no accounts a bad game, however some fans of the original series considered it a letdown. The addition of things like jetpack sprinting and reticle bloom changed the fundamental aspects of the game. The Forge mode, which was a big part of the replayability of Halo 3, was changed. Okay, Halo Reach provided the massive Forge world, but it was no longer possible to place props which were affected by physics. Bungie also cut many custom game options and game modes too. This may not seem like a big deal, but many of the classic Halo 3 custom games such as Crash Compactor and Fat Kid were now impossible to recreate in Halo Reach. And this was the demise of Halo. Halo Reach was a massive success in terms of sales, but it provided none of the legacy that the previous Halos had. Halo simply couldn't survive in the present in its original form. Bungie then stopped making Halo games and 343 Industries took over. 343 were owned by Microsoft, and as such they strangled any potential the series had left, turning the game into a COD Halo hybrid. Halo 4 was a terrible, terrible Halo game, but it gained many fans who were used to the typical Call of Duty kind of gameplay. Halo is dead, and its corpse will be continually flogged by Microsoft until the money stops coming out of it.